lovely Sega Master System games. And look, there's me, chillin', casually browsing. And then those games again, clearly labelled, just waiting to be played. Tell you what, I fancy a bit of that. Wait there, just wait. What exactly am I playing here? The title screen says Secret Commando, but the box quite clearly reads Secret Command. No O, just Secret Command. I don't get it. What's going on here? Did Sega really screw this up? How could this be? What is the story here? Well, some quick research, and by research I quite clearly mean Googled, shows that, wouldn't you know it, the game was also released elsewhere. Firstly in November 1986 as Ashra in Japan, and then in the US as Rambo First Blood Part 2 a month later. Just look at the cover art for the US game, by the way. I mean, compared to the EU box art, if you saw both, which one are you going to pick up? Anyway, with those accursed licensing issues, blah blah blah, preventing the Rambo brand from crossing over the pond, and with Ashra meaning nothing to nobody outside Japan, upon EU release a year later, Sega decided instead on Secret Commando, or rather Secret Command, because you see, Capcom already had a game out called, Commando, and Sega, fearing confusion, subterfuge, indifference, or perhaps all-out war, who knows, casually dropped the O from the box to make it clear that the two were not connected, but still fought, presumably for laughs, to keep the Secret Commando title screen. Okay then. So this is what we're left with. A one-armed, mouthless soldier of indeterminate sex, brandishing a weapon in the charmingly minimalistic clip art style characteristic of the early SMS games. Quite frankly, it's vacant, leaves a lot to be desired, and is ultimately unsatisfying. Just like when I had a bit of late-night slap and tickle with your flabby old mum, you could say. And then there's a title, Secret Commando, no Secret Command, which really grates on my tit end. That to me sounds like some lengthy, multi-layered strategy-based game where you decipher clues and you have to crack and input various codes and whatnot. If anything, Secret Command better fits this game. But this game already has a name, Zillion. And to that, you can say that the name for that game is a zillion times better. But what about the game? The game! Well, there are levels, 6 of the devils as it turns out, and it's really just a case of getting your soldier from Chimpan A to Chimpan B, shooting ping pong balls, bullets, at anything that dares to get in your way, whilst avoiding being shot at all costs. That's right folks, this is a one-hit death game. Do not get hit. Let me repeat this, do not get hit. Getting hit loses all your power-ups and a number of your secondary weapon arrow bombs, which is bad enough to begin with. But to add to the overall unfairness stroke toughness, once your lives are gone, there are no continues. Again, let me repeat this. No continues. Let us all now take some time out to applaud and appreciate this obviously brilliant decision. And did I just say death? By golly I did, and this game is full of it. Many times as being cheap and at your expense. Look at this. How are you supposed to avoid this? Another thing, when you respawn, it can sometimes take a few seconds before you're allowed back into the game, by which time the enemies have crowded round and started shooting right at you, resulting in yet another unjust, uncalled for, and unavoidable death. The shits. Fortunately, extra ammo and power-ups can be obtained by destroying these huts, which house your so-called captured friends, but doing so isn't always straightforward, or even advisable. Often, the time it takes to destroy these allows further enemies to crowd the screen, thus making you more likely to take a hit. Your best bet, to quote a certain Geordie who used to work in a travel tavern, is to move and fire and move and fire. And the power-ups themselves? The L item increases the shooting distance. The S allows the bullets to pierce through enemies, allowing you to kill several with one shot, while the question mark handily obliterates everything on screen, causing all enemies to succumb to glorious instant vaporization. Quite simply, the must-have item for any aspiring warlord or dictator. There are no bosses as such, at least for the first 5 levels. Once you get to the end of a stage, it's a case of taking out the soldiers, avoiding the oncoming enemy fire, destroying the base wall, and progressing onwards. Just like the real thing. One of the big draws of this game is the fact that it's 2-player, not that the box art wants you to know this. Yes, you heard that correctly, 2-player. The SMS is actually capable of this, and employs it very well in this game, or at least I imagine it does. It was tough getting someone else to join in, so the footage you just saw was me playing with 2 joypads, a multitasking man machine, or some loser with overly busy hands. You decide. As you have probably gathered from what you've seen so far, Secret Command certainly looks familiar, with some people no doubt wanting a medal for pointing out the bleeding obvious, not only calling it an Akari Warriors and Commando clone, but also going so far to put it under the heading of run and gun. Take the trouble to look up clone in the dictionary as I bloomin' well did, and it reads,
a person or thing that duplicates, imitates, or closely resembles another in appearance, function, performance, or style.
Well, Secret Command is a thing, there's no denying that, and I guess it does imitate Commando in function at the very least. So it's one thing to say that it's a Commando clone, but performance and style wise, to put this under the label, the genre if you will, of run and gun is a stretch that even King of Spin and Blair Bumboy Alistair Campbell will be hard pressed to justify. Look at the evidence. Here's Commando, here's Mercs, no, here's Mercs, and here's Secret Command. At best, it's a brisk walk, a leisurely stroll in the throes of deathly 8-bit combat. Taking a hint from the game title and saying, I command you to move faster, has no effect either. In the world of Secret Command, you have no mouth, remember? Idiot. Now, the first 4 levels are fairly straightforward once you get the hang of the game mechanics. Level 5 onwards, however, and things do invariably start to get tasty. Don't you just hate towns where absolutely everybody's out to hunt you down, including the good town sheriffs and policemen? And to help them out, they've enlisted the services of these here riflemen. Oh, but I tell you what, if you thought you had it tough in the earlier rounds, kid, then these make previous enemies look like paralysed paramilitary pussies in comparison. Whew. Look at the speed of those ping pong balls, I mean bullets. How in Huntsville are you supposed to get out of dodge with this jacked up barrage of bullshit aimed right in your path? Or more rather, your face! Oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm so dead, I'm so dead. Oh look, I am dead. And yes, this is a game with no continues, remember? The shits. So finally, after dogged determination, sheer skill, or just because you have nothing better to do with your life, you get to level 6. The first phase is standard enough fare, but just look at all this going on here. These grenades, that seemingly only ever go off whenever they are near you, can just F right off. Seriously, F right off. This is just ridiculous. Death upon death upon death. Is this what you wanted, was it? The arcade experience? In your own home? Really? What you see before you is precisely what happens when you combine one-hit deaths, no continues, and a barrage of overwhelming on-screen activity. That death noise? Get used to hearing that one, folks. You're going to be hearing that again and again and again, and oh yes, again. Should you somehow overcome that urge to break the nearest object in sight and actually make it to the last boss of the game, to say that the frustration levels don't exactly drop at least a little bit is putting it mildly to say the least. What exactly do I need to do here? Turns out you need to destroy the back wall. You know, just like you had to do for the end of the previous 5 levels. Finally, the boss that resembles Omnus from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles capitulates and the evil is at last vanquished. You even get treated to a little cutscene and credits montage, just like how all good wars should end. So, just what is the verdict, pray tell? It's a solid, if unspectacular action shooter with fair graphics, a neat 2-player option, and which holds up pretty well by nostalgia-fueled 8-bit standards. That said, for a supposed run and gun game, it does disappointingly move at the speed of a handjob being performed by a thoroughly unmotivated hooker, and the difficulty does crank up considerably in later levels. If you can overlook the fact that you're firing ping pong balls instead of bullets, and are in the mood for a challenge, Secret Command ought to serve you quite nicely. Final verdict, B-.